Hello, 8th graders. We're going to be doing section 8.7. This should be done for Wednesday of this week. If you're in 8th grade math, 8th grade algebra will be a little bit later. Now, this should become right after section 8.5, and we just did volume of prisms and cylinders. Now we're going to do surface area. And it's an important distinction to know that the volume is the inside of the figure, like if you dump water into it or fill it with air, that's volume. But surface area is the outside. The labels on volume are always going to be cubed, so like centimeters cubed. Surface area, the label is always going to be squared, because the surface area is just a bunch of like rectangles or circles that are added together on the outside. Okay, this has the potential to be pretty tricky, so you really got to stay locked with me on this one. Okay, so what I've drawn here is a picture of a rectangular prism. Okay, a three-dimensional box. We have the base, the height, and the depth. This is what we covered last time. Now, over here on the right, I split it up like a net, so that if you would take this and fold along each of the black lines, this would end up being the top, this would be the bottom, these would be each of the sides, so this would be like, if this was 1, on that side it'd be 1. If this was 2, 2 would be right there, that type of thing. Okay? And then this here would be like a 3, and this would be the 4. So this would be the front here, and that would be the back. Okay? And what it means is you have to find the surface area of each piece and add them together in order to get, almost there. You have to add each of these areas of each of these rectangles together, and that'll give you the surface area of the entire figure. Okay, so here I've drawn a Rubik's Cube just like we had last time, and to find the surface area we need to find the areas of the blues, the yellows, and the reds. Now here's what's cool about a rectangular prism. The red on the right and the left side will always have the same area. The blue on the front and the back will always have the same area, and yellow on the top and the bottom. So it feels like you're finding 6 boxes, but the reality is you're only actually finding 3. So if we have to find the area for each of these, the reds one here have a height of 3 and a base of 3. So that means each of these areas will be 9. The yellows, this is 3 and 3. So this will be 3 and 3. That means they also have a height of 9. And the blues, we'll have to change colors, have the same thing, 3 and 3. So they also have an area of 9. And then to find the surface area, we simply have to go 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9, which would give us 9 times 6, which is 54 square inches. Now, it's the 2 is because it's surface area. Okay, it's always the outside. Okay, what's important to note, this is a square prism, therefore, you are not going to have to do anything. But most of the time, these will not all add up to 9. There'll be different numbers, but the yellows will always match up, and the reds will always match up, the blues will always match up. If you wanted to draw this type of cross shape for these, that's perfectly fine. I normally don't, though. Okay? So I want you to try to find the surface area of this X box. Give it a try and see how you do, and then I'll come along and we'll work together. Okay, so I'm hoping you gave it a shot on your own. Now I'm going to copy the net from the last problem, actually from the first one, and I'm going to use it just because I think it'll be a little easier to see. Okay. Nope, I lost one of the rectangles, it looks like. There we go. So that means that this will be the front, and I know to find the area for that, it's 18 times 5, which would be 90? Yep, 90. So I'm going to say that this is 90, actually. Now, it doesn't matter where I put these, but just to show what I'm talking about, 90 and 90. Now, to find this side over here, I know that this length here is 18, and this length here is 8. And 18 times 8 is not something I can do in my head. It's 144. So that means that that would be the sides, 144 and 144. And the top, now here's where it gets tricky. Now this is 5, that means this is 5, and this is 8. So the top has to have an area of 40, so therefore the bottom has to have an area of 40. Now if I take all of these and add them up, plus 90 times 2 plus 80 is 548. And it's going to be centimeters squared because it's surface area. Okay, if you have questions, bring those to class tomorrow. We'll work through them. So now, here's where it gets a little bit trickier. To find the surface area of the Toblerone package, it's going to be a little bit different. Okay, a triangular prism has the front and the back, but then it's only going to have 1, 2 on the back, and 3 sides. So we have to find the front and the back. We have to find the area there. And then the 3 sides will have the same area as well. So the front and the back, the area is just going to be 3 times 1 divided by 2, which is going to be 1.5 each. Okay, because it's height of 3, base of 1. Now, this is a little bit trickier. Okay, but this side here is 2. That's the height of that. And then this here is 10. And even though it doesn't look like it, it's actually a rectangle. So that means it's going to be 2 times 10, which gives us an area of 20 each. Now there are 2 front and back. Therefore, the front back is going to be 3. And there are 3 sides. So they're going to be a total of 60. Therefore, the entire surface area of this figure is going to be 63 centimeters squared because it's surface area. Okay, I know the triangular prisms are tricky, and I don't like doing surface area of those, but that's the best we can do. Okay. Now, these are important. The actual cylinder itself, surface area is used quite a bit when finding like big fish tanks or silos or stuff like that. Surface area is very important. First, you have to find the area of those 2 pieces there. And that's pretty easy because that's what this B stands for. That means the area of the base. Well, the area of the base is just pi r squared, just like we had found before. Okay, except now that there's 2 of them, you do 2 times pi r squared. Now, to find this center area, okay, I don't know if this is going to work really nicely with these colors. Nope, it won't even color it in. To find this center area, that's a little bit harder to see, and I'm going to try to show you in class tomorrow why this is true, but that's going to be circumference times the diameter. Okay, so I need you to write this formula down. Okay, 2b plus c times d. And you need to know what each of these are. B is going to be the area of the circle. C is circumference. And D is the 3D measurement. Now, I know it's a little confusing, but I just want you to see it before you get to class tomorrow so we can work on it together. So, in order to do the formula, surface area is equal to 2 times pi r squared. Well, r is going to be 2, so 2 times pi times 2 squared, plus the circumference of the circle is going to be, circumference is always going to be 2 pi r, or d times pi. So that means that's going to be 4d, because our diameter is 4, times our height of 8. Okay? So this is where it gets a little tricky, but you guys can work through this. 2 squared is 4, times 2 is 8. So this is 8 pi. 4 times 8 is 32. Whoops, this should be pi, not a d. I'm sorry for that. So that's 32 pi. You add those together to get 40 pi. And the label here would be inches squared. Okay? I want you to try this on your own down here, but I need you to focus on this formula. 2 times the area of the circle plus the circumference times the height, or that 3D measurement. Okay? Try it, and if you can't do it, I'll show you how I did it. Okay? Alrighty, so let's take a look. Now, I did surface area is equal to 2 times pi 12 squared, because this is r squared. And we're going to add in the circumference, which will be the diameter times pi. So that'll be 24 times pi times the height of 40. So now if I broke it down, 12 squared is 144. So that'd be 2 times pi times 144. Plus 24 times 40 is a big number. $960. Okay. 2 times 144 is 288. 288 plus 960 is 1,248 pi. And we're going to do feet squared on that. Look, I know surface area is difficult, and many of you are going to have a little bit of problems with this. That's okay. We're going to do them in class tomorrow. That's why we do the flipped classroom. Okay? So these are what we're going to be working on tomorrow in class. Not a ton of problems here, just 9. Okay, and I know this video went a little long. We'll see you tomorrow.